I went to Singapore from New Zealand and came back again. Boy, it was hard. Melissa from Melissa vs. Fibromyalgia here, and reporting back to you about how it went for me to travel to Singapore from New Zealand with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, interstitial cystitis, basically the gamut of chronic pain and fatigue. I couldn't have gone on this trip if I hadn't had my earlier surgery for the hysterectomy and endometriosis excision, so I'm incredibly grateful that I could even go at all. I went with my husband, who went for work. We went without the children, and that's the only reason I was able to go, because it would have been way too hard with the children with us. But it was wonderful and difficult at the same time. It's been really hard for my body. It's been thrown for a loop. So actually traveling there wasn't too bad. We traveled during the day, and while I did get sore from sitting around and I had to wriggle quite a lot and I did not rest on the plane, I didn't do too badly. We arrived there late in the evening and went to bed pretty quickly. The first morning woke up at 4 a.m. because there's a 5-hour time difference between there and here, and we took a walk really early in the morning. And the rest of that day I stayed in the hotel where my husband was at work, because the heat was a whole thing for me. I'm heat intolerant, and so it was really difficult. Every time I'd walk out into the heat from the air-conditioned lift, I'd get like waves of dizziness. It was just so hot, and it took me some time to get used to it, but even then, going out in the middle of the day was not really a good thing for me. So the second day, again, woke up a little too early, but managed to take a walk with my husband before he went to work, and I stayed in the vicinity. I did go and I found a Starbucks within walking distance, so when he went to work I took a Starbucks and I sat in the park. It's wonderful, it's beautiful and green, and lots of wonderful things around, and so I sat out there for as long as I could handle it, and then spent the rest of the day inside. I had to work because I didn't take full leave, because I need to save leave for Christmas time. So I worked from the hotel and tried to relax by the pool until my husband got home, and then we went out to a market. So each evening we went out somewhere new for dinner, to some kind of market. They have an amazing train system, so I was able to get around relatively easily. It was a lot of walking involved, and if you get lost, that can be difficult. We got lost in a mall one of the first nights there. We couldn't figure out how to get out, and we realized it's because the mall was like underground, and so we had to go up several stories to get out. So that was interesting. But on the third day I crashed. I woke up very unwell, so that was not a pleasant day. It was almost basically wasted, and I regretted going on that day. So the first 3 days were not excellent, but I kind of acclimatized. Then on the Saturday, we did a lot of walking, and we went out to Sentosa Island. It was so hot. I struggled. I thought I was going to faint. When we first went in there, it was so hot. I really did think I was going to faint. That's just the heat intolerance. But we went into the aquarium, and it was amazing. The aquarium was so good. And when we came out again, it was really, really hot, but we went up to get onto the cable car so that we could look around the island, and then it started to rain, and that cooled things down. So I was able to wander to the waterfront, and we had a look around there, and had a cable car and got back home. So that was wonderful, but exhausting. My feet were swollen and sore. My fingers were swollen. I had a headache pretty much the whole time I was there. That's the heat intolerance. So that wasn't that fun to deal with, to be honest. And I couldn't deal with their food. Any food that we ate out at the market would upset my bladder. So I'd get a swollen, sore stomach area, and then I would feel extreme urgency to go to the bathroom. And it would tend to clear just as I was like able to go to sleep. So I had to not eat the local market food. So I ended up eating Subway for lunch, McDonald's a couple of times, which wasn't great, but I couldn't tolerate, I think it was the MSG. I don't really eat MSG or seed oils here. So that was rough. Made it very difficult to eat and made, yeah, it uncomfortable in that way. But on the Sunday, it was really cloudy and a bit cool. So I was really lucky. The whole week was apparently cooler than it usually is at that time of year, which is meant to be a cooler time of year. And so we went to the zoo. It was incredibly hot. I used my umbrella like a walking stick, and I had my hat on to like try and cover my face from the heat. And we did walk slowly. We did take a big break at lunchtime and sat as close as we could to a fan and ate some food, so that helped. But it was incredible. I got to see 2 white tigers. So now I have seen 3 white tigers in my life, which is very unusual because there are not many around. So that was incredible. I mean, I love animals, so it was really cool. I got to do that, but it was a very hard day. My feet really hurt. I had a big headache, and my feet were just so swollen, and my fingers got really swollen. I don't know quite why, but anyway, the weekend really was hard, but we made use of it. And then my husband went back to work, and on the Monday during the day again, I didn't do very much during the day. The Tuesday I worked, and my flight was cancelled. So I was very disappointed. Really disappointed because I was very tired and just wanted to be home. I was tired. I just had a headache almost all of the time. And I just felt dizzy. Like every time I walked near the heat, I just get these waves of dizziness. So that was quite uncomfortable. So it was a real tension there, because it was wonderful because I was having a break from like my really busy life. And I didn't have to cook or clean or do anything like that, but it was quite a thing for my body to manage. So I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I tried it. I'm glad I got to see how I was in the heat, but I'm also seeing now. So I managed to get home again 3 days late, and the first day I didn't sleep at all on the plane, and it was an overnight flight. I slept like 2 1-hour blocks and then a little bit later, and I was sick. When we got home, I kept my eyes closed in the car, and then I crawled straight into bed and stayed there for 3 hours, and I only got up because I didn't want to ruin the rhythm of the day. So I'm used to having a rest in the day, but I had to get up. I felt yuck. That night I went to bed at normal time and woke up at normal time. I felt really ick because normal time was like the middle of the night to my body, but I did it and I had a regular rest, but for some reason the jet lag kicked in last night real bad and I could not get to sleep. I was exhausted, but I could not get to sleep. So this morning when my son came into work, wake me up, it really did feel like the middle of the night and like I hadn't had enough sleep. I feel a little bit better in that sense, like my fatigue is a little bit better. My stomach is really mad. Like I have hardly been able to eat anything, and I have been having to go back and forth to the bathroom. We're at the point where it's like diarrhea now, so that's fun. So clearly my body does not like being picked up and plonked in another place and then put back again. And so what I'm thinking is it's probably a good guideline to say that it takes about as long to recover as I was away. And I think a week and a half was my maximum. I'm looking forward. I've got a lot on this week and my husband's away, so it's going to be a big week in that sense. I've also got 2 school visits for my son who's about to start school. And unfortunately, those 2 days fall on the 2 days I'm meant to be working and seeing the chiropractor. So they're going to be a heck of a busy day. But my body needs to see the chiropractor. So we're waiting for Tuesday to see the chiropractor, but that really was as long as I could handle it. So the experiment was good. I got to see a whole other country, and I got to see some good stuff and got to spend some time with my husband and have some time away from the kids and, try it out. So it was wonderful. But it has solidified some things in my head about making other decisions kind of with going away again anytime in the near future. I think I will wait some time, and I don't think I'll do it while my children are small. There's no way I'd manage them while being away. So, I got really frustrated with my limits. I got really sad with my limits. I was so grateful that I could even do it at all, but so frustrated at how not normal I am, because at home I've constructed this sense of normality and I can do a lot and I have really good workarounds and it can feel like I'm nearly normal. I know I'm not, but it can feel like it. But when you're out and you see other people and they can just go and do things, they don't have to think about it. It's like, that's annoying. But anyway, at least I got to go and try, and at least now I'm back with my babies. My best tips though really were choosing the right time of year to go, making sure it wasn't too hot, keeping up the hydration. I had no alcohol whatsoever, even though it was free at the hotel and free on the plane. I had none. Lots of water, some electrolytes. I ate as carefully as I could, so I tried to mimic what I eat at home as best I could. I didn't take the children so that I didn't have any extra responsibilities on me, and I was just really mindful. I kept my rests. I did my yoga nidra every single day, and the days I was worse, I did it twice. So keep up the coping mechanisms. I had my electric heating pad in the room. I only went because I knew there was air conditioning in the room too. And I had my medicines, and I followed my if this then that pain relief plan. So I followed the plan, kept that all going nicely. I didn't need too much in the way of pain relief. It was mostly about my headaches. So that was cool. My neck and my back have been pretty great, so I'm looking forward to updating you about how the chiropractor is going, because I've got a lot of extra data for you. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm home though, and I'm happy to be home, and I can't wait to recover, and then look through my photos and think about the things I got to do. Anyway, that was my little update about going to Singapore. I hope you're well. Let me know if you have been anywhere and if you've picked up any good tips as well, and I'll catch you again soon.